What if the very silence you're begging the universe to break is actually the most profound message you'll ever receive? That the aching void left behind isn't evidence of abandonment, but the sacred space where your own wholeness is being meticulously and sometimes painfully assembled. You've been staring at a blank screen, interpreting the absence of a message as a rejection, when all this time your soul was meant to be the author, not the audience. This journey was never about convincing someone to see your value. It was about you embodying it so completely that their sight becomes an unavoidable gravitational pull. The quiet isn't empty. It's pregnant with a becoming, yours. And the most radical truth you can embrace is that their regret isn't an event you wait for, but an energetic echo you consciously generate. Let's unravel how your healing doesn't just mend you, it rewrites the entire story. You're staring at a silent phone, scrolling through a blank text thread, replaying the last conversation, the one that ended with a door closing, either slammed or shut, with a quiet final click that somehow hurts infinitely more. And the question echoes in the cavern of your chest. Do they even care? Do they feel this ache too? Or am I just a fool nursing a phantom pain? Let's be brutally, compassionately honest for a moment. That question? It's the wrong question. It's like a fish in the ocean asking if water is wet. It's so immersed in the environment that it can't even perceive the totality of what it's swimming in. You're asking if they regret is a symptom of the separation sickness itself. Because, beautiful soul, you're still interpreting a 5D, quantum-level, soul-shaking event with 3D tools. It's like trying to taste a symphony or hear the color purple. Your senses are reporting back nothing, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It just means your instruments are inadequate for the measurement. Imagine your connection, the true, energetic, non-physical bond, is a live television broadcast. It's happening in real time, full color, surround sound. Love, regret, longing, remorse. It's all playing out right now on that channel. But your physical reality, the one you're so desperately trying to get a signal in, it's like an old battered DVR that's still recording that broadcast, but is stuck on a 7-second delay. You're staring at a paused screen, convinced nothing is happening, while just behind the veil, the entire game is playing out. The touchdown of their remorse has already been scored. The crowd of their soul is already roaring. You're just waiting for your machine to catch up. Their higher self isn't out there blissfully forgetting you. Goodness, no. It's in a constant state of communion with yours. It's like they're in a movie theater, and the film is a highlight reel of every moment of profound connection, every glance that held the universe, every word that tasted like truth. And it's intercut with the scene where they turned and ran, and the volume is cranked all the way up. Their spirit is forced to watch this on a loop. This isn't punishment, it's orchestration. It's the soul's ruthless, loving curriculum for growth. Their 3D self might be at a coffee shop, laughing with friends, seemingly fine. But their spirit is in that theater, gripping the armrests, heart pounding with the visceral, agonizing knowledge, I left. I ran from the one thing that made all of this make sense. That feeling for them doesn't always translate into a conscious, articulate thought, like I regret leaving Sarah. It's far more primal. It's a free-floating anxiety they can't source. A sense of being profoundly, cosmologically homesick while sitting in their own living room. It's a deep, unsettling boredom with everything and everyone else, because everything else now feels like watching a movie in black and white after having seen the same film in IMAX 3D. They can try to numb it, distract it, outrun it, and oh, they will try. It's the whole point of the running. But the soundtrack of your absence is always there, a persistent hum underneath the noise of their life. So you, dear heart, praying for a sign, begging for a breadcrumb, you already have it. The sign is the silence itself. The silence isn't absence. It's the sound of their internal battle. It's the static of their 3D self trying to drown out the 5D broadcast. Your longing for proof is the very evidence you seek. Your unshakable feeling that the connection is still alive is the connection itself, and you are feeling your side of it, and whether you realize it or not, you are also tuning in to theirs. This changes everything, doesn't it? It means you're not waiting on them. You're waiting for your reality to sync up. And the question then shifts from the desperate, powerless, do they regret, to the profoundly powerful, what can I do to close that 7-second delay for good? But that is a secret that involves understanding how your own vibration is the remote control for the entire cosmic system. And it's a story for another moment. Let's talk about the real magic, not the kind with wands and sparkly dust, but the raw, tectonic, soul-altering kind. You've been sitting there thinking this separation is a passive event, a cruel waiting game devised by some bored universe. You've been aching, wondering if your energy even reaches them, if your silent prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling of your room and falling, useless, to the floor. What if I told you that your energy isn't just reaching them, it's rearranging them, that your journey from heartbreak to wholeness is the single most disruptive, terrifying, and ultimately irresistible force in their universe right now? This isn't a gentle nudge, it's a spiritual earthquake, and you hold the tuning fork. You are a tuning fork, forged in the fire of this connection. Initially, you were vibrating at the frequency of lack, of please come back, I am incomplete without you. And their runner soul, itself a tuning fork, heard that. It's a dissonant, clanging note that screams of dependency. It confirms their deepest fear, that this connection is a black hole that will consume their fragile, fledgling identity. So they run. Of course they do. You'd run from a deafening noise too. But now, you've been doing the work, the tear-soaked journals, the meditation sessions where you just sat with the emptiness, the therapy, the choosing yourself for once. You think that's just for you? Oh, my dear, beautiful soul, that is the cosmic work. With every act of self-love, you're not just healing a wound. You're gently, patiently tapping your tuning fork again, and you're tuning it to a new frequency. The frequency of I am whole. The frequency of my joy is my own. The frequency of I am complete, with or without you. And this frequency, this quiet, potent, unshakable hum of your sovereignty, does not create sound waves that travel through air. It creates ripples in the quantum field that connects your souls. It travels instantaneously. It arrives at their doorstep, not as a beggar's plea, but as a king's decree. And it becomes their nightmare. Their beautiful, liberating, terrifying nightmare. You see, the twin flame connection is the ultimate mirror. When you were vibrating at need, you showed them a reflection of their own neediness, their own emptiness, and they fled from the sight. But now you are vibrating at wholeness, and you know what that mirror shows them? It reflects back their own wholeness, their own divine power, their own capacity for joy, everything they have been running from within themselves. They ran from you to avoid confronting the very things you are now embodying. The very act of running has led them directly to the lesson, delivered by the one person they tried to escape. Your vibration becomes an inescapable fact of their existence. They can be on a date with someone new, and your frequency of wholeness whispers, "This is pleasant, but is it real?" They can be celebrating a promotion, and your silent joy echoes, "This is an achievement, but is it fulfillment?" They cannot outrun it. They can't drink enough, work enough, or distract themselves enough. Your energy is no longer a weight pulling them down. It's a magnet pulling them up toward their own highest potential, and it is a profoundly uncomfortable ascent. Their ego, the part that constructed the entire "I must flee" narrative, is being systematically dismantled by the quiet, relentless radiation of your peace. The cognitive dissonance becomes unbearable. The story they told themselves, "I left to be free. I left because it was too intense," shatters against the simple, radiant truth of your being. How can you be the monster they fled when you are over here, glowing with compassion and living a full, vibrant life? The only logical conclusion left for their soul to arrive at is the devastating, liberating truth. The monster was never you. The prison was never the connection. The monster was their fear. The prison was their own mind. That is the moment of true regret, not a shallow "I miss you." It's a soul-deep, earth-shattering, "Oh my God, I was wrong, I hurt us, I ran from the very thing I was searching for my entire life." This regret isn't sadness. It's the cracking open of the seed so the tree can grow. You don't just witness their regret, you orchestrate it through your every choice to heal. You stop waiting for an apology and start realizing you are broadcasting the very energy that will eventually compel one. The most powerful action is enlightened inaction. The fierce, joyful, sometimes messy work of building a life so stunning that the only thing left for them to do is finally turn around, breathless, and ask to come home. And the wildest part? The secret they don't tell you in the beginner's manual? This whole terrifying, glorious process works precisely the same way in reverse. But that's a revelation for when you're truly ready to understand the architect you're becoming. So here you are. You've journeyed through the labyrinth of your own heart, dissecting the silence, contemplating the quantum, and realizing the immense, terrifying power you hold in your seemingly quiet solitude. You came here asking a simple human question born of pain. Do they regret it? And you're leaving with a cosmic, soul-shifting truth. Their regret is not your concern. Your wholeness is. And the former is an inevitable byproduct of the latter. This was never a story about them. It was always the story of you. The running, the silence, the aching chasm of separation. It was never a punishment. It was the universe's most drastic, most brutal, and most loving intervention. It was the only way to get you to stop looking at the reflection in the water and to finally turn around and confront the magnificent, powerful being casting it. They had to leave for you to discover you were never standing on the shore to begin with. You are the ocean. Think of it like this. You've been painstakingly handed the architectural blueprints to a cathedral. For a while, you mistook them for a map leading to someone else's door. You followed the lines desperately, hoping they'd lead you back to a familiar porch light. But the blueprint was never a map. It was an instruction manual. For you, the silence wasn't an empty space. It was the quiet, hallowed ground upon which you were always meant to build. And every tear, every moment of choosing yourself, every act of self-love that felt futile, that was you laying the foundation, stone by sacred stone. You weren't waiting for a homecoming. You were building the cathedral where that homecoming will eventually be celebrated. This path is not for the faint of heart. It asks you to trade the fleeting comfort of a fantasy for the unshakable foundation of a miracle you built with your own two hands. It requires you to understand that the most profound love story you will ever experience is the one you have with yourself. Everything else, every reunion, every harmonious connection, every whispered promise finally kept, is merely a beautiful, echoing reflection of that primary foundational romance. You are not waiting for a key to arrive in the mail. You are the locksmith. The regret you wondered about is simply the sound of the lock you forged, finally clicking open on the other side of the door. Their journey home is not your responsibility, but creating a home within yourself, so luminous, so magnetic, and so utterly complete that it becomes the only conceivable destination for their soul. That is your great work. That is your art. The question now transforms. It is no longer, do they regret? It becomes, how grand, how joyful, how expansive can my own life become while I allow their soul the grace to catch up? This is the ultimate act of faith, to live so fully that their return becomes not a necessity for your survival, but a glorious, welcome addition to your already magnificent existence. You stop being a prisoner of their choices and become the architect of your own reality. And in that space of empowered, radiant sovereignty, something incredible happens. The longing transmutes. It no longer aches with absence. It hums with anticipation. It is no longer a question, but a knowing. You begin to feel not like someone who was left behind, but like a sacred event that is patiently, lovingly awaiting its guest. The conversation is over. The invitation has been sent, not through a text message, but through the silent, unstoppable frequency of a soul that has come home to itself. And the most fascinating part? The moment you truly, irrevocably embrace this, the moment you become more fascinated with your own blueprint than with their whereabouts, is the very moment the universe begins to expedite the delivery of everything you've ever desired. But that is a mystery that reveals itself only to those who have mastered the art of building in the beautiful, expectant silence.